our economy this year is predicted to grow by 2.4%. Growth is then revised up from the budget forecast in the next 2 years to 2.4% in 2016 and 2.5% in 2017. It then starts to return to its long-term trend with growth of 2.4% in 2018 and 2.3% in 2019 and 2020. The debt was forecast in July to be 83.6% of national income this year. Now, today, in this autumn statement, they forecast debt this year to be lower at 82.5%. It then falls every year down to 81.7% next year, down to 79.9% in 2017-18, then down again to 77.3%, then 74.3%, reaching 71.3% in 2020-2021. And I've had representations that these changes to tax credits should be phased in. I've listened to the concerns, I hear and understand them, and because I've been able to announce today an improvement in the public finances, the simplest thing to do is not to phase these changes in, but to avoid them altogether. Tax credits are being phased out anyway as we introduce universal credit. And what that means is that the tax credit taper rate and threshold remain unchanged. The disregard will be £2,500. I propose no further changes to the universal credit taper or to the work allowances beyond those passed through Parliament last week. The minimum income floor in universal credit will rise with the national living wage. I set a lower welfare cap at the budget. The House should know that helping with the transition obviously means that we will not be within that lower welfare cap in the first years. But the House should also know that thanks to our welfare reforms, we meet the cap in the later part of this Parliament. Indeed, on the figures published today, we still achieve the £12 billion per year of welfare savings we promised. The government's digital service will receive an additional £450 million, but the core Cabinet Office budget will be cut by 26%, matching a 24% cut in the budget of the Treasury. And the cost of all Whitehall administrations will be cut by £1.9 billion. These form part of the £12 billion of savings to government departments I am announcing today. This year, public spending will be £756 billion, then £773 billion next year, £787 billion the year after, then £801 billion before reaching £821 billion in 2019-20, the year we're forecast to eliminate the deficit and achieve the surplus. After that, the forecast public spending rises broadly in line with the growth of the economy and will be at £857 billion in 2020-2021. We will work with our health professionals to deliver the very best value for that money. That means £22 billion of efficiency savings across the service. It means a 25% cut in the Whitehall budget of the Department for Health. It means modernising the way we fund students of healthcare. Today there is a cap on student nurses. Over half of all applicants are turned away, and it leaves hospitals relying on agencies and overseas staff. So we'll replace direct funding with loans for new students so we can abolish this self-defeating cap and create up to 10,000 new training places in this Parliament. Alongside these reforms, we will give the NHS the money it needs. We made a commitment to a £10 billion real increase in the health service budget, and we fully deliver that today with the first £6 billion delivered up front next year. Those local authorities who are responsible for social care will be able to levy a new social care precept of up to 2% on council tax. The money raised will have to be spent exclusively on adult social care, and if all authorities make full use of it, it will bring almost £2 billion more into the care system. Next year, the basic state pension will rise by £3.35 to £119.30 a week. As we set out last month, we will abolish the uniform business rate. By the end of the Parliament, local government will keep all of the revenues from business rates. We'll give councils the power to cut rates and make their area more attractive to business, and elected mayors will be able to raise rates provided they're used to fund specific infrastructure projects supported by the local business community. The Scottish block grant will be over £30 billion in 2019-20, while capital spending available will rise by £1.9 billion through to 2021, UK government giving Scotland the resources to invest in its long-term future. The Department for Transport's operational budget will fall by 37%, but transport capital spending will increase by 50% to a total of £61 billion, the biggest increase for a generation. That funds the largest road investment programme since the 1970s, for we are the builders. It means the construction of High Speed 2 to link the Northern Powerhouse to the south can begin. The electrification of lines like the Transpennine, the Midland Main Line and the Great Western can go ahead. We'll fund our new Transport for the North to get it up and running. London will get an £11 billion investment in its transport infrastructure. And having met with my honourable friend for Folkestone and other Kent MPs, I will relieve the pressure on roads in Kent from Operation Stack with a new £250 million investment in facilities there. I am increasing the cash that will go to the Arts Council, our national museums and galleries. We'll keep free museum entry and look at a new tax credit to support their exhibitions. And I will help UK sport, which has been living on diminishing reserves, with a 29% increase in their budget, so we go for gold in Rio and Tokyo. 300,000 people have signed a petition arguing that no VAT should be charged on sanitary products. Now, we already charge the lowest 5% rate allowable under European law, and we're committed to getting the EU to change its rules. Until that happens, I'm going to use the £15 million a year raised from the tampon tax to fund women's health charities and support charities. We're going to open 500 new free schools and university technical colleges, invest £23 billion in school building and 600,000 new school places, and to help all of our children make the transition to adulthood and learn not just about their rights but their responsibilities too, will expand the National Citizen Service. Not only is the schools budget protected in real terms, but the total financial support for education, including childcare and our extended further and higher education loans, will increase by £10 billion. And that's a real terms increase for education too. By 2020, we want to see 3 million apprentices. And to make sure there are high-quality apprenticeships, we'll increase the funding per place. And my right honourable friend, the Business Secretary, will create a new business-led body to set the standards. As a result, we'll be spending twice as much on apprenticeships by 2020 compared to when we came to office. Those signing on will have to attend the job centre every week for the first 3 months, and will increase in real terms the help we provide to people with disabilities to get them into work. This will all be delivered within the 14% savings we make to the resource budget of the Department for Work and Pensions, including by reducing the size of their estate and co-locating job centres with local authority buildings. Old Victorian prisons in our cities that are not suitable for rehabilitating prisoners will be sold. This will also bring long-term savings and means we can spend over £1 billion in this Parliament building 9 modern new prisons. I am doubling the housing budget, doubling it to £2 billion a year. And we will deliver, with government help, 400,000 affordable new homes by the end of the decade. And affordable means not just affordable to rent, but affordable to buy as well. That is the biggest house-building programme by any government since the 1970s. Almost half of them will be our starter homes, sold at 20% off market value to young first-time buyers. 135,000 will be our brand-new Help to Buy shared ownership, which we announced today. Will remove many of the restrictions on shared ownership, who can buy them, who can build them, and who they can be sold on to. The second part of our housing plan delivers on our manifesto commitment to extend the right to buy to housing association tenants. I can tell the House this starts with a new pilot, and from midnight tonight, tenants of 5 housing associations will be able to start the process of buying their own home. I am introducing new rates of stamp duty that will be 3% higher on the purchase of additional properties like buy-to-lets and second homes. I am today announcing that there will be no cuts in the police budget at all. There will be real terms protection for police funding. Mr. Speaker,
to protect the police.